Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Jesse here. Quick update on the project. We got the pistons and the crankshaft installed on the engine, and so otherwise not a whole lot of work done. Been doing a lot of outdoor stuff again. Yeah, I know. I need to stop having fun, right? Anyways, here's some tidbits on installing the bottom end. So one thing we found in the block is in the valleys between the cylinders where the water coolant is, there was this egg-ish substance. So my assumption is at one point somebody put in anti-leak substance in there or something, and it just kind of gelled up inside of here. I hate that stuff. I refuse to use it. Fix the leak. These miracles in a can rarely ever work. But cleaned them out. So now there's nothing left in there, all the way down to the aluminum. So we're good to go on that. Also have the block cleaned itself. It's not perfectly clean, but it's clean enough. It's not dirty and covered in filth. When installing the main crankshaft bearings, you want to install them dry. So the backside should be dry, and the main bearing journal should be dry as well. And that will help, along with the tab, that will help with the bearing spinning. So you just stick the bearing on there dry and seat it in as best you can by hand. And then when you go to put the crankshaft in, you'll lube this up. One thing I want to note about these bearings is these are the used bearings that originally came with the engine. They're relatively in good shape. There's not a whole lot of wear on them. Again, we're just trying to replace gaskets and reuse what we can to save some costs. Just trying to get the Jag back up on the road so I can enjoy it. And I know a lot of people are going to say the comment, if you're in the engine, you might as well. Yes, I know. Normally I would. But with just 32,000 miles on the car, I think we're fairly safe to reuse as much parts as possible. Once your main bearings are installed, it's time to get these prepped for the crankshaft. So this is where you want to come in and lubricate. Make sure there's lubrication all over this. Don't be gentle. Before you install your crankshaft, you want to make sure that you have the thrust bearing installed in the center crankshaft bearing area. Now, you want to install these on the oil. These are oil grooves. These are not just random cuts. These are oil grooves to lubricate the thrust bearings. Now, these are designed to limit your axial loads, center your crankshaft. And if you're interested how these kind of work, they work on a hydrodynamic bearing. So there's no actual moving parts in the bearings themselves. It's the oil film that's generated between the crankshaft and the bearing itself that supports the loads of the engine. So it's actually spinning on a oil bearing per se. If you're interested more on how that works, you can do some research. King's Bearings has a really good document that describes how all this works. So once you have all your main bearings lubed up, you can go ahead and install the crankshaft. Now, the crankshaft on these Jaguar V12s is heavy. They're 68.8 pounds according to my scales here in the garage. So just be careful lifting it up. If you need help, grab somebody. I feel comfortable putting it in myself, so let's do it. That's it, that's all there is to it. Now you oil these up, oil the bearings for the main caps, and put the main caps on, torque them down, and crankshaft installed. One thing to remember about installing the rear main bearing cap is you want to make sure that you have the appropriate seals, because this is a place where a lot of oil will leak in a lot of engines. Just make sure you're using the right seals. This particular version of the Jaguar uses the one-piece lip type seal. It's the later model V12s. So before you buy when you're buying your gasket set, just be aware a lot of the gasket sets come with rope seals. If you have a later model engine, you're going to have to buy an extra lip seal. And the later models do not use the hockey stick side seal. It just uses silicone. So once you have your crankshaft installed and torqued in, a good check to make sure that everything's installed properly is to be able to spin it by hand. You should be able to spin it with one hand. So here's my other free hand, and it spins. And if it doesn't spin freely, that means you've got something jammed up. You might have a bearing or something not sitting right. You might have the wrong size bearings installed, or you could even have this out of aligned. The bores themselves, the crankshaft bore itself might be out of alignment, and you might need to bring it to a machine shop. So good check after you install is to just spin it by hand. If you can't spin it by hand, got to figure it out. This is the bottom end kit that I ordered to rebuild the engine with. This particular kit comes with the rope seals, and remember that we need a lip type seal for this particular engine. Nor does this kit come with what I'm going to call hockey sticks, the little plastic pieces that go on the rear crankshaft. So that's another item you're going to have to order separately if you're using this particular kit and you're building an older engine. Well, that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the project so far. Let me know in the comments if there's something particular that you want to see as we make progress. Again, we're going to be doing some rear end work, modifying the ECU. I'm going to try to show all that, some of the things that I'm going to be working on. Anyways, once the engine's done here, hopefully by the end of this month, we'll re-baseline the project, figure out a new schedule. Hopefully we can still get it done this year. I think we can. There's a couple of things we can do to save some time and whatnot. So thank you, and have a good day, guys.